Good morning, everybody. You're listening to Jim White and Simon Jordan, and we are live in talkSPORT. So, Bradley Barcola from PSG to Liverpool for £120 million. A signing to be buoyed up by, or 1 year on from Isak and Wirtz. Is there a sense of deja vu? Meanwhile, David Moyes delivers a dollop of pessimism. Would you rather your manager oversells or undersells? Also today, Guendouzi, provocateur or victim? Would you be a loon to pay £200 million for a League One club? Is UEFA right to not boycott? And from midday we talk boxing as we build up to Itoma versus Hrgovic. Jim White and Simon Jordan were live in talkSPORT.
100% engagement.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on talkSPORT.
So as I was walking down the road this morning, I didn't prepare myself for the weather and got a good old soaking.
Look
and
out the window and like that.
You're a little bit damp yourself.
Yeah, but I have this obsessive compulsion of walking, so I don't need to be soaking wet. I could have just jumped in a cab or jumped on a train and got a train to here, but I walked from Waterloo.
You walked from Waterloo.
I need to maintain my steps.
Yeah, you seem very proud of that fact that you do that.
Pursuit of 6 million steps.
Well, somebody got in touch with me the other day, and you said over a month. Oh, there it is. Graham Smith on X.
Yeah.
How many steps do you think you do? 17,000 a day.
Just under.
And that 6.2 million steps, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Last year it was 5.4 million steps. So I'm looking for a 15% increase. I've got a step. I don't walk along counting them. I've got
5,493. 5,409. Damn it! I've lost it.
It's about targets and driving yourself and pushing yourself. It's always been something that I'm obsessed with.
Here's something you don't know. Glenn Matlock. Who's he?
Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols. Former bass player. 70 years young today.
Yeah, he's a very talented musician, Glenn Matlock. Because he gets associated with the Sex Pistols, people don't think they were good musicians. I did Steve Jones's Jukebox in America. Steve Jones, who was a bass guitarist. I was so hungover from my previous night out with, here's a terrible name drop, with Billy Bob Thornton out on the Waz with him. Had to go and promote the film Telstar. Got so sick and drunk that I went on Steve Jones's Jukebox, threw up in my hat, and he was appalled.
What?
I bought a Trilby hat from Barney's, and he was so appalled. And I sat there looking at him going, how can I have possibly appalled a Sex Pistol?
You got to go some to do that, I'll tell you. I don't know, it's probably hypocritical, but was he not sacked by the other Sex Pistols?
He was.
Because at one airport somewhere he said he liked the Beatles.
Correct. John Lydon didn't like him very much, did he? And they bought that was when they bought fatalistically. Sid Vicious more into the fray.
Gee whiz. Anyway, it's all
anarchy in the UK.
Anarchy in the UK. It is all go out there because it's emerged just before we came on air that a deal has been agreed in principle for Bradley Barcola between Paris Saint-Germain and Liverpool. Apparently, the clubs agreed terms of a proposed deal overnight for a package of around £120 million, of which £100 million is guaranteed. So Barcola from PSG to Liverpool. And our chum, French World Cup winner Emmanuel Petit, was talking about this one.
On the left flank, this guy can make so many differences. And this is what missing as well with Liverpool, the speed, something that can be fast, running with the ball, that can not scare, of fighting against defenders. And this is exactly what they are missing at Liverpool. They have good players, but they need, modern football is based on the fast players, who can make this decision within a few seconds, can make differences, with the ball. And I don't think many players, at Liverpool actually for that.
Okay, Emmanuel. Here's the thing, though, Simon. Liverpool fans, should they be buoyed up by this, Simon, or is there a sense of deja vu? 125 million for Isak, 116 million for Wirtz. Is it a case of be careful what you wish for?
Big game player, though, isn't he? I mean, coming from Newcastle, albeit Newcastle fans will say that they're a big club, but when it comes to coming from PSG and having won the Champions League, having dominated Europe, playing a significant part in what is a team that has been recognised probably as the best team in Europe, I think is a better blueprint. Isak has got a whole raft of combination of challenges behind the reasons why his form hasn't hit, including his own outlook and disposition and the way that the transfer deal was carried on.
Yeah.
But this is a player, I mean, you saw him in the World Cup. This is a player that's very capable of performing at the highest level. It signals Liverpool's intention. It tells you how much money that's in the Premier League, that they're just taking players from clubs like PSG that don't need the money and paying a lot of money for them. I mean, we are now getting to the stage where there's no sharp intake of breath for a £100 million transfer. They're de rigueur now.
Sure.
Tragic, but that's the nature of the beast, and that's the nature of sport. He's a good player. He's a good player. He will be a good player for Liverpool. I don't think it has the same connotations as Isak, different position. It goes to the point of what Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was making yesterday about how important wingers are and how the game has moved into wide players. I mean, we saw it years ago when Real Madrid came over and bought Lloyd Cunningham from West Bromwich Albion, that wingers were a fundamental part of it. It's a part of the English game that was sort of phased out after Alf Ramsey for a period of time.
Yeah.
And now it's back in vogue, and wingers and forward players of that nature are so pivotal to teams if they can work hard and add a value as well as, going forward.
Yeah.
Then he's a young 23-year-old player that I think could be a roaring success.
Well, let's put it out to Liverpool fans this morning, Simon. It's emerged a deal has now been agreed in principle for Bradley Barcola to go from PSG to you at Liverpool. Liverpool fans, is this something that buoys you up this morning when you hear that? Or 1 year on, as I said, from big money deals for Isak and Wirtz, is there a sense of deja vu? Give us a call on that. Tell us what you think. Barcola to your lot, 03717 223344. Simon, across the city, David Moyes has backed up his spiky value of the Cups response in the pre-match presser before the Preston game, as Everton beat Preston 4-0. And then he seemingly delivered what you would only refer to as a dollop of pessimism post-match. This is Moyes.
We definitely need to continue to make additions, that's for sure. We thought our squad was quite thin last year, and at the moment I think we're still one down on, if you take the way my numbers work out, I think we're one down from where we were even last year. So I still think we're short in the squad, and I still think we're short in quality in some places. I need to try and add that.
Whoa, David somewhat dour in that interview, wasn't he?
What do you want him to be then?
Well, I mean,
called jester.
He was asked as well by the written media, should fans feel that they could get carried away to an extent? I think we've got a lot of work to do, and I still feel that for us to be a side which is competitive, I still think we've got a lot of work to do. But hopefully we're able to try and do some of it. Our squad's not big enough, and we need to get more quality in some areas. And then he was asked, do you feel you'll be able to do that before the window closes? Nah, I'm not sure we will. But it's not for me and the want of trying, that's for sure. So if we don't get anybody in, it won't be down to me, because I'll try my hardest.
Sure, but he can't write checks out, can he? He can't do deals. I mean, why are we trying to portray him as Eeyore?
No, but what's he doing? Is he having a nibble at the owners?
He might be. I mean, it's not the kind of messaging I'd want to see from a manager.
Well, there you go. Why?
Because I don't think it's particularly productive.
Right.
And those are sort of conversations he has with me and with the chief executive, not necessarily with the world's media. But David might be in a very strong position. It might be an agreed position that they take with the media. I can't imagine that it is. But David is an experienced manager. If you I'm not. Line is that he's a football manager. His job is to produce results. And so whilst there are some real characters of football managers, most of them are all a little bit up their own backsides, aren't they? I mean, look at De Zerbi, and look at managers like that. They're all full of their own importance. I don't take much notice of David. David is far more engaging in person than he is in press conferences.
Oh, I agree with that. He's a great guy.
And he's a very, very capable manager. And my only concern for David Moyes has been about the decisions to play a particular style of football and then take the consequences. But
would you, as an owner, rather your manager oversells or undersells in terms of belief and vision?
I'd rather win football matches and care about the other things in a different way. I mean, look, you want to see managers.
But you just said you wouldn't want your manager speaking like that.
Not in an ideal world, but it also comes down to the nature of my relationship. Because, I remember, again, it's disappearing into Tottenham land when we were making a 4-act play about an outburst from Conte. And Daniel just said, it's the nature of the manager, a bit temperamental, get on with it. But we were over here jumping up and down about how awful it was and what the manager was doing and how much message he was sending to his chairman. The chairman's going, it goes with the territory. Sometimes you have to rise above the managers because that's your job. You're supposed to be, as the owner of the football club, bigger than they are. I don't mean in stature. I mean in the experience and the characteristics that exhibit real leadership.
Yeah.
Because managers are allowed to have a certain level of leadership. But when it comes to running a business, controlling a business, being responsible for a business, really being responsible for it, responsible for the financing of it, responsible for all the standards that managers are asked to deploy to their team, don't lose sight of it. The most important people in a football club now, and I don't care who doesn't like to hear it, are club owners, because they're the ones that determine. Now they determine what kind of football club they want. People are buying football clubs now for different reasons than the old days of the council making being a big man in the town. They're buying it for influence. They're buying it for credibility. They're buying it for sometimes sports laundering.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is they will decide what kind of club. Marinakis has decided what football club Nottingham Forest is going to be.
Yeah.
Josh and Stan Kroenke have decided what Arsenal are going to be.
Right.
Sheikh Mansour decided what Man City are going to be. So the owners and their stances and their positions and their styles and their wishes and their dough decides the direction of travel. End of discussion.
I know, but after listening to Lieutenant Happy, a.k.a. Moyes, Evertonians must be thinking, well, what kind of football club do we support here? I mean, it was a TV interview. I mean, we're not talking about life or death here, Simon. It's football. It's the entertainment industry. It's meant to be fun. You know, do you feel you'll be able to do that, you know, add to your squad before the window closes? No. I'm not sure we will.
It's David.
That's really, you know, that's not for me and the want of trying, that's for sure. I mean, David, come on.
Heath Ledger impersonation of Why So Serious? You know, look, the bottom line is David Moyes is the football manager. His job is to win for teams. His personality isn't sparkling. It doesn't fizz. But his teams do predominantly what they need to do. You know, David, you know, has his own disposition, and it might just be that you know, didn't want to talk to the media. Can be a bit wearing, you know, sometimes.
What, the media? Well, you chose to be in it.
No, I'm talking from the point of view of a person that's not in it, the person's having to deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, yeah, but that's part of the job.
Oh, it is.
So deal with it.
But he is dealing with it in his way, and we're criticising it. So what should we do then? What do you want him to do? Come in with a three-cornered hat on and start singing and dancing?
Well, it's not so much
from Rent-A-Ghost.
It's not. No. It's not so much his demeanour. It's actually what he's saying. Is that the message that Evertonians want to be imparted to them this morning? But managers, days from deadline day.
I hear.
Whilst Liverpool are lining up Barcola across the
Liverpool
city.
in a whole different ballgame. Liverpool have got hundreds of millions. I would imagine if David Moyes was getting 120 million pound footballers bought for him, you might see a happier David Moyes. David shopping in Lidl. Harrods, Liverpool shopping in Harrods. So what's his job is to produce a team to win football matches. At the end of the transfer window, most managers dislike it intensely. They want it done. We see it as a commodity and a media opportunity. They see it as an irritation and a constant thread of conversations that half the time they can't answer. Can you imagine being asked a question that really you can't really answer? You're the manager. Put yourself in a manager's shoes for a second, right? He doesn't control the destiny of the finances of a football club, but he's going to be constantly asked as if he does. So he's got to sit there and tap dance and go, right, what do I say? Do I say what I really think, which is it's not good enough and I really need more resources? Or do I try and play the line of respect for my owner? Or do I try and find a halfway house? But either which way, I'm going to be pushed, I'm going to be pulled, I'm going to be cajoled by journalists to say something. So then put yourself in his shoes, knowing you can't really have the control of it. You're being portrayed in the media as the person that runs the club. And you're not. You're an employee.
I get what you're saying, but pre-match, can fans get carried away at this time? No, they can't.
Not with Eon.
I think we've got, and it's the text of what he's saying, the content. I think we've got a lot of work to do, and I still feel that for us to be a side which is competitive, I still think we've got a lot of work to do. Well, to be competitive, I think it's very least that's being demanded. That's the bare minimum.
True. I think it's very, very important the next time we have Moyes on this show, which we do every now and again. Yeah. You tell him exactly what you think of his disposition.
And you think I won?
I'm not hoping that you do.
You think I won?
I'm hoping that he comes on and I say, David, I was listening to that interview they did.
Sure. Do not think.
Go on then.
Don't
go on then.
Shy away with it. Well, over in America, when we interviewed Frank Warren, we were a bit harsh with Frank there. Shut up. No, if there are questions to be asked, we'll damn well ask them.
I thought you guys were a bit small-minded, but that's different.
Oh, well, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Coming from you. So there we go. Liverpool fans, Barcola to you lot. 1 year on, are you buoyed up for it? But 1 year on from your experience of signing Isak and Wirtz, is there a sense of deja vu? And Captain Hilarious, David Moyes, we heard what he said there regards Everton, but as Evertonians, would you rather your manager oversells or undersells in terms of belief and vision? And Evertonians, how do you really feel? How do you really feel when you hear that across the city, a deal is agreed in principle for Bradley Barcola between PSG and Liverpool for the player to go to Liverpool, a package around £120 million, whereas Evertonians, your boss, is wondering if and when you're going to get somebody in. Give us a call, 03717 22 33 44. That was lively. Good morning, everybody. 10 on this fairly murky Thursday morning, murky. Thursday morning. It's Jim White and Simon Jordan. We're live in talkSPORT. Alex Crook, the man who knows what's going down and where it's going down, is going to join us very shortly, and he can tell us the up-to-date situation regarding Bradley Barcola. On the move from PSG to Liverpool, it would seem sooner than later. The clubs agreed at terms of a proposed deal overnight for a package worth around £120 million. Reportedly, negotiations are being handled by Sporting Director Richard Hughes and Fenway Sports Group President Mike Gordon. Details being worked upon right now. Alex Crook will join us for that. In the meantime, across the city, David Moyes was more than a little pessimistic as to whether or not Everton are going to get anybody through the door at all before the deadline is reached on Tuesday night. David even went so far as to say that they need more just to be competitive. Wonder what Evertonians think of that. 03717 223344. Let's find out. Peter, Everton fan, what do you think of that, mate, when you hear across the city Barcola's on his way sooner than later?
It's not great, is it? But I think Liverpool and Everton at the moment are sort of different positions, and they're, as you said earlier on, shopping at Harrods, where shopping, a bit lower and down. But I think what Moyes is doing is being realistic and keeping the fans' expectations where they need to be. I think he's going to identify players he needs or positions he needs to fill, and then it's up to the people above to go out and get them.
Do you think, Peter, he's right to almost undersell the potential comings and goings before the deadline is hit?
Yeah, I do, because Angus Kinnear, I think it was last week, had an interview with a couple of the fan channels and mentioned, they're looking on getting players in, maybe 3, 4, 5 players. And obviously that got the fans a bit excited, thinking we're getting, a raft of players coming in to boost what we've already got. But the closer it gets to the window, it appears that's not going to happen. And the big one's going to be right back. If we do not get a right back in, the uproar from the fans is going to be, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a good call, Peter. Thanks for it. Here's Tim, who's a Liverpool fan. Tim, good morning to you. Barcola seemingly on the way, £120 million. But is there a sense of deja vu with Isak and Wirtz in mind?
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Simon. Thank you for having me on.
Good morning.
Basically, I think it's a great idea getting Barcola with his pace and his quality. That's absolutely superb. My concern is left-back Kirkes getting the ball forward to Barcola. We need to feed him. And also on the other side, Robertson to Salah, absolutely superb. We need to be able to play forward from the defence quickly, and we haven't got that capability in defence at the moment, and that concerns me. But I think Barcola's a really good idea, good signing.
Is he going to help you to be there or thereabouts come May with a challenge to Arsenal, Tim?
Yeah, I think so, because if we've got Barcola there and he gets the ball, he can actually get the ball into Isak quite quickly. He's not frightened of running at defenders, and he's got a wicked cross on him, given the opportunity. But that's my concern.
Good call, Tim. Thank you for that. Andy, Liverpool fan, where do you stand in this? In view of the fact that Isak and Wirtz have taken a long time to settle in and maybe haven't done it yet, what are you thinking about this potential huge money signing in Barcola?
Well, I have to say, Jim, I'm with Tim on this. So I think Barcola's a good signing. I like the signing, but I'm looking at the way we played last season when everybody expected us to kind of walk the league with all the money we spent last season. Yeah. And it looks like even from game one, we've got similar problems. It looks like we need a low-lying midfielder, and it looks like we definitely need to think about right back and left back, because those players just haven't clicked. And then the big money boys, Isak and Wirtz, I mean, for all the money we spent on them, they're just nowhere. So I've got, I'm pleased about Barcola, but I'm wondering why we're chucking 120 million quid in when we've got problems in other areas.
Andy, I can tell you, Simon's sitting here nodding at the point you made.
I tell you one thing I think that will change is Kirkes' performances, because what got Kirkes a move to Liverpool was Areola at Bournemouth, and I think he's now back with his own player. And you'll see the development in that player, and you'll see him suddenly become a far better player. So that might be a raise in that particular situation.
Yes.
I got a lot of faith in Areola. I don't think Liverpool will win the league, but I think there'll be a far better version of the team that we saw last year.
Sure. Thanks for the call, Andy. Let's go back to where Everton may or may not be. Jeff's an Evertonian. Good morning, Jeff. Where do you stand? Where do you stand on this, mate? First off, does it somewhat frustrate you that across the city Liverpool are about seemingly to land a player worth £120 million.
To be honest with you, I don't really worry about Liverpool. I don't even think about Liverpool, to be honest, because they're playing at a different level at all. You know what I mean? As you say, it's just the way it is at the moment, football, the way it's gone. So we don't really entertain Liverpool at all. I'm more concerned about Everton.
Right.
But when I say concerned, to be honest with you, I've been a season ticket for over 45 years. And I just think now, I think Moyes is the right man for the job, and I can't understand all the doom and gloom merchants. At this moment, he's the best man for the job because I think he knows the club inside out. It doesn't matter how you dress it up. You get Evertonians saying Sean Dyche got this and he done that, and he wasn't. We finished 13th and whatever. We're playing a bit better football. The midfield now, we've got a good mixture of youth and experience. He's got a good level. We've got a short on a couple of players that say we definitely need a right back. That's well known and it's been well talked about.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel we're going to get 2 or 3 players in at the end of the window. My concern is keeping hold of him. If we can keep hold of him, great. If we can't, you've got to get the best kind of money we can for him, and we've got to be talking in the 80 million bracket because that's the way it is at the moment.
Yeah, Jeff. Before you leave us, and I like what you say, and I can tell that you're an Everton fan through and through. What is a good season for Everton, Jeff?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, because obviously, I'd say a decent cup run. But to me, try and get into Europe. I think top 8 finish for us is not out of the question. You know what I mean? And we've got to be knocking at the doors at the cups. But as you say, I mean, we take a lot of banter from Liverpool supporters and whatever, but we're in a different playing field from them at the moment. You know what I mean? Well, we're going to be in. We're never going to be in that playing field now with the top 6 the way all this PSR.
But Jeff, is Moyes right to say we need more to be competitive?
100%. But the thing is, he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. Because if he turns around and says, oh no, we're really happy with what we've got, we're really, really happy, and we don't get the others in, you're like, well, hang on a minute, he said he was happy. If he says, no, we haven't got enough in, he's only telling the truth.
I like it. Jeff, thank you, mate. Some good points. Thank you so much for the calls. We are off and running. We will be speaking to Alex Crook. So, Liverpool fans, you are going to find out where this situation is at with Bradley Barcola very shortly. It's 10:30 and we're live on a Thursday morning.